We've been increasingly strongly linked to him over the course of the last 2 weeks. Josh, I'll come to you first on this one. They are just to break the news in the last day or so that Palace have secured the signing of Sporting centre back Ousmane Diomande for 47 million quid. I don't know if they've totally secured that, but that's what I'm reading. That's a nearly done deal. The stuff floating around that Palace would be interested in Ben Doak, which would help Liverpool, and that Quansah's nearly out the door. So things are beginning to align that makes you believe that this is a live one, that Marc Guéhi, we could cross the line with him. He's not got a release clause, he's only got 1 year to go, so Liverpool shouldn't be paying much more north of 40 million if it comes to it. What do you think their thinking is with Marc Guéhi, though? It's quite a difficult one to riddle. I mean, I've had back and forth with Neil on forums about his height, and I don't disagree with the fact that it's an issue in the way that Liverpool have approached filling centre-back slots in recent history. But there's also the issue of Ibou Konaté and how much game time we can give Marc Guéhi. What's your whole view of this potential transfer?
Yeah, there's a lot to like, I think. I think he's as steady as it gets, really. He's just really dependent, really reliable centre-half who's been around for a long time, but he's still only 24. He's captain of his club. I think one of the tactical perks of Guehi, and I think this links in with Dean Huijsen, which I found interesting, is if you sign Huijsen, you get a play for the left spot and you get a play for the right spot.
Yes.
Because he's very two-footed. He played both for Bournemouth. If you sign Guehi, he's less two-footed, but he's favoured the left despite being right-footed. So in theory, he could play next to Virgil because he's right-footed, or he could play instead of Virgil if Virgil needs a break next to Konaté. So I think that's one of the perks of signing him. He covers both spots. His aerial stuff is not ideal. I think that's his biggest weakness.
Is that just because of his height, or
no? I think the height thing. I think he uses his frame better than Quansah does, and Quansah's like 4 inches taller than him.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's so much like I don't know what it is. I'll have to look into it more. Maybe it's his leap or something. I don't know. But his aerial duels are like, doesn't he win like 55% or something?
I think he's about 50th percentile, isn't he?
Yeah,
something like that.
But I think on average, I think last season he was injured a little bit, and he contests. Sorry, he wins 29 aerial duels and loses 29 as well in the Premier League. So that's literally a coin flip as to whether he's going to win a ball in the air.
Yes.
which is not great for Liverpool centre half. What I will say on that is I think the Premier League generally is less aerial nowadays than it was when Liverpool bought Virgil, when Liverpool bought Konaté.
Yeah.
I think Slot's game is a little bit less aerial, a little bit less direct, maybe with the ball on the floor. And going back to it, I think Guehi is a really, you know exactly what you're getting with him. Proven in the Premier League, never really injured. He reminds me a little bit. I've said a few times now. He reminds me of Joe Gomez, but less injured, little bit slower, and 4 years younger. I think that's
Joe's about 6'2", 6'3", isn't he? Joe Gomez.
I think he's about 6'1", isn't he? Something like that. I think
Joe's about 6'2". Joe's taller than him.
I think Guehi's on FBref. Guehi's 5'11" and a half, whatever you want to. I mean, that's a bit specific for me, but
if I was 5'11", I'd be adding the half.
but yeah, I think generally speaking, it's a decent link for the price. I think Newcastle going to 70 last season was nuts. That's way too much for him. And I don't think he moves the needle too much for you either when it comes to winning games and all that. But as a steady addition, he's an upgrade on Quansah for 40 million. I think it's fine. And it's one of them, I don't think you need to.
Can we sell the project to him, though, when you've got two elite centre-halves directly in front of you, who played most games last season?
If we achieve what we want to achieve, though, you're chatting 60 games. And Konaté in particular has been prone to injuries and things like that. He's got a relatively uncertain future and stuff. Virgil will need more breaks, you'd assume, moving forward, given he's like 34 or something. He's just signed a 2-year deal. So I think the minutes would be there. I think he'll get more minutes moving forward than Gomez, for example.
All right, but Sean, it's a World Cup year, right? And he's established himself in the England setup, albeit he's got a new manager to impress in Thomas Tuchel. I do wonder if Ibou Konaté won't sign his contract, and the vibes are in that direction, and it is really just about to see it sit tight for a year and go to Madrid on a free, do a Trent as it's called. If they suspect that's what Ibou's game is there a possibility they think, hang on, we'll bring in Marc Guehi, He's really good. He's, as Josh is, club captain, regular for his country, and actually let the form player have the shirt. Do you know what I mean? Even start the season with Marc Guéhi, so you can play next to Virgil van Dijk, and Konaté's got to dislodge you. Put it that way around. It's not. I'm not saying be as pernicious as you know, make Konaté train with the kids exactly, but if they think it's marginal between Konaté and Guéhi, maybe they'd say to Guéhi, we'd go with you. And that's the plan. That's the sell.
I hope you're enjoying this free show at the moment. Loads of excellent, exciting stuff on the Anfield app. If you want to be part of the whole thing, you can download the Anfield app and go from there. Or you can subscribe via the YouTube membership as well for video-only content and other bits and pieces. We love doing these shows. We love that you watch them. So come, be part of the journey with us.